Welcome back again today, good friends. We are doing super mega massive, how we do large family meal prep, plus make ahead meal prep for hosting Friendsgiving for 30 or so. And we are going to get started with a bunch of big batch cooking today. We are using my Make Ahead Holiday Mega Meals to feed a crowd, and we're using my baking pack with 10 low carb and sugar-free and also gluten-free desserts. And we're using my Mega Muffins Guide too. And if I veer off and end up using some additional big batch Thanksgiving recipes from my blog, largefamilytable.com, those will also be linked down below, along with these guides that are currently 50% off, plus your free limited time access to my 4-week Gentle Freezer Challenge course, which is a free added bonus for the month of November 2025. And that link will be your first link in the description below. Now we're doing several big batch Make Ahead holiday casseroles that will be for our Friendsgiving that we're hosting in just a few days. And so I can make those today, get them in the freezer, and they'll be ready to go. It's almost a week away, so they can be prepped ahead and put in the refrigerator as well if it was like 2 or 3 days. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get them made today, get them in the freezer, and I'll be showing you in upcoming videos how I go through and get those ready for the big event. Also, at our big Friendsgiving, along with doing one of my recipes for slow cooker turkey breast, I'm going to serve, it's actually called a Christmas Day chicken, but you can have it any day of the year. And I'm gonna do some recipe adapting with that to also make it low carb and gluten free. I have 3 or 4 containers of the pork panko, and usually that chicken, after it marinates and before you bake it, you roll it in another cracker crust. I may still end up making that traditional variation, but today I'm gonna work on recipe testing and adapting it using the pork panko as well to be a low carb, trim healthy mama friendly and gluten-free friendly variation. And additionally, I have not made homemade mashed potatoes in probably 3 years or so. I've certainly done my share of homemade mashed potatoes in the past, but today I'm gonna make up about, these are 10-pound bags. I'm gonna do 20 pounds of homemade mashed potatoes. And what my large family will eat tonight is the recipe testing of the Christmas Day chicken and homemade mashed potatoes. I don't know if I'm getting into gravy or not. It's not on my list. We'll see how it goes. But homemade mashed potatoes are also just good with butter, right? But then again, I'm like, but gravy's so easy. We could do that. And on my list, prepping ahead for the Friendsgiving, we're going to do several keto pumpkin pies that also are dairy-free. Those pies are keto, sugar-free, check a lot of those boxes. And I also want to do a homemade sugar-free whipped topping for those. And I've been reading some recipes for a dairy-free variation. Now, I was dairy-free for about 8 months in working to heal my inflammation. And I know dairy is something that some people can find inflammatory. So that's one of the things my doctor wanted me to take a break from. I have mixed in some light dairy the last 6 or 7 months, but we have some other family members and people who will be coming who also have some dairy-free needs. And plus, it won't hurt me to have some dairy-free whipped type topping as well. So we're gonna see if we can pull that off too. And so modifying the Make Ahead Christmas Day chicken, it's nice to marinate it overnight in the refrigerator. I am cooking this today. We're gonna bake it all together. It's gonna be just fine. Instead of the 4 sleeves of buttered flavor crackers crushed, so AKA Ritz crackers, we're going to use the pork panko. And I have 3 different types of the pork panko available. This is the Italian herb. I think we'll use this. I also have a plain and I have a sweet and spicy, which sounds good for some other upcoming adventures. So now we are going to work through the process. Okay, I made a decision, right? I made a decision. I'm actually not going to start prepping the Christmas Day chicken quite yet because we have 20 pounds of potatoes here judging us. Now what my plan is I'm going to prep 20 pounds of potatoes today, and my household, I mean, I don't know, 24 hours, 48 hours, I don't think they're going to be here in 72 hours. It's been, like I said, over 3 years since I have made big batch homemade mashed potatoes. So I'm excited to do that today. However, for Friendsgiving, I also have a few more meal preps before the big day of hosting 30 or so. And so I plan to get my recipe dialed in again today, reconnect with my homemade mashed potato skills and adventures, right? And we will make another 20 pounds of homemade mashed potatoes in just a few days, and we will serve those hot and ready at our big Friendsgiving event that we're going to host here very soon. So what I'm doing right now, besides washing the potatoes, is I'm going to go through and I'm going to peel all of these potatoes. I cannot find my favorite peeler, which is so sad. I have like a lime green one that I love. I've had it probably since 2016, so almost a decade with that peeler. Cannot put my hands on it. I do have this teal one, and it's pretty okay. It's doing its job, and I'm just listening to some music in my earbud, and we are going through here peeling down these 20 pounds of potatoes. I'm dropping some once in a while, but it's not too bad. It's okay. Again, if only I still had farm animals for these potato peel scraps. But anyway, working through the potatoes. After I am done peeling them, I plan to then give them another good wash off just to get any remaining dirt particles that are still on them. And then we are going to chunk them down. Then I'm going to get all these potatoes covered with water in a pot. I'm just going to let the potatoes start the whole process from cold water all the way through boiling, and then we will drain them from there and go to making our homemade mashed potatoes. Now, I have a variety of ingredients that we can add into these mashed potatoes. I do have cream cheese, I have butter, I have cheddar cheese, I have sour cream, I have heavy cream. All the dairy is also located here. So I am not doing a dairy-free variation of these homemade mashed potatoes today. I'm just doing 20 pounds of regular old homemade from scratch, super cheesy and buttery and delicious homemade mashed potatoes. And that's the goal today. After this, I plan to circle back around and work on our Christmas Day chicken. And we are going to do that with the pork panko variation of this recipe that I want to test out. Then we will be making 4 9x13 make-ahead mega holiday casseroles that we will be serving for our Friendsgiving. And with those, I might serve one of each because we're going to have, hopefully, if all this cooking continues as planned, fingers crossed, right? I might end up serving one of the broccoli, rice, and cheese casseroles, and then one of the ham and cheese casseroles at our Friendsgiving, and save the other two making ahead and meal prepping for our actual Thanksgiving Day when we get back home from running our turkey race. I could be meal prepping for that Thanksgiving within all this cooking today as well. And then I plan to do my keto pumpkin pie recipe, which that recipe guides you through making 3 9-inch pumpkin pies that are low carb, sugar-free, gluten-free, and also dairy-free. I'm going to double that, and we're going to try to make 6 this afternoon. So let's get cooking. Okay, so now it is potato cubing time, and I do have my 30-quart stock pot, which will be perfect for this. I am gonna wash the lid off real quick. I also have on my list to do sweet potato crumble muffins, and didn't mention those yet. They are on the list, even if we may not get to them till tomorrow, but we're gonna keep trucking. I wanted to go ahead and also get these sweet potatoes washed and just get them in the slow cooker. That's meal prepping for my household of 57, haha, for the coming days. Plus, we will use the sweet potatoes in those muffins. I think if I remember correctly, of course, my recipe makes 4 dozen. That's how we roll. I'm pretty sure I have in there 4 cups of cooked sweet potatoes. So that's probably these 2 potatoes here, but while we're doing it, we will fill it. I had one of my folks go down and bring me up a bowl of sweet potatoes. So that is good. We will just get all we can in the 10-quart Hamilton Beach slow cooker. I showed you recently in one of my new videos, I got 2 fresh Crock-Pot brand 7-quart slow cookers that were marked down $10 off each at Walmart, because you know, so many of my slow cookers have had so many adventures over the years that I got one has a broken crock and they have some dents and other things. So I'm not gonna open those up today, but in the coming days we will get those going. Several people have also asked me about my big oven. My big oven. Move 1 second, potatoes. This big oven, if it's fixed, if it will be ready for the holidays. I have called Z-Line and I stayed on the phone for 30 minutes one time. I have not made it any farther. Did I get to talk to a person that day? No. And I feel like I emailed them also, but it's been several weeks. So I'm doing lots of life and stuff and things. My regular size oven, it's okay, it'll work. And we also have our roaster ovens. And at some point before 2025 is over, if I can get Z-Line on the phone, I will then go forward with whatever steps. I've called all my local repair people, all my local appliance repair folks do not work on this brand. People have also been concerned about my stovetop working. My stovetop is gas. It's been working just fine. My gas company just came and refilled that tank. The ovens are electric because, believe it or not, with these bigger stoves and ovens, I've heard so many stories of people who cook a lot having trouble with their gas ovens too. But this is the second time with my electric one, and we'll get through it. It's just, you know, I'm gonna make 20 pounds of homemade mashed potatoes today and think happy thoughts. And I will just throw these on for a couple hours. I was using my air fryer this morning because, you know, in my recent freezer clean out, I found a 4-pack of ribeyes, which are gold. And so I'm having a ribeye for breakfast every morning. I've had 2 mornings like that, so I've got 2 more days left. And it's just absolutely delicious. So that's why my air fryer's over here for now. And people have asked me how I cook them in the air fryer. I put down some parchment paper, and I do put usually like a little avocado oil on top of it and some Redmond salt. Let's see, maybe I can get another one in here. Probably not. Probably over, let's see, a little sweet potato Tetris. That one's pretty good. Maybe? Just can't quite. Okay, that'll have to be it. Little avocado oil, Redmond salt, 400 degrees. I do it for 18 minutes and I flip it halfway, and that just gives a nice medium steak, but also lots of yummy, delicious, crispy fat, which that is my favorite. And I guess I'll put those on high. Again, I don't know that we'll get to those muffins today, but they're on the list.
And thank you all so much for your recent watching and support of my emergency food storage room pantry. And together we got going on cleaning and organizing it now that I can be in that room and work through it even more. I am glad that me and my household have had that pantry of food to work through over the last more than 2 years. And I'm also glad to see the areas we need to stock up on again. Like I need a bunch more tuna. I need a bunch more canned chicken because those are items that we go through pretty steady. And also working in there for that one afternoon so far and thinking through what's in there, I have even more upcoming pantry homemade from scratch freezer meals that we can make and prep with many of the ingredients that I have in my pantry to help rotate those through, and I'm really excited about it. So far you can tell me, you can add to my list, right? Definitely, I want to make stuffed shells for the freezer. I also want to make keto, low carb, check all the boxes, salmon cakes because I have a nice collection of salmon in there. I want to do homemade beef stew, but use different canned vegetables I have with that. Now, you may know or you may not know this, that I have 2 beef tongues in my freezer. And so several of you in the past have told me about doing beef tongue tacos. I would love to do that. And I'm also thinking that we can use some of that beef maybe for the beef stew or even for other beef recipes. I also thought we could make a ton of homemade biscuits from scratch using a bunch of the tallow that we home rendered. And we would use that tallow in place of the butter. And I can make 120 biscuits like it's nothing and everybody here runs through them quickly. But what if, we just had a big biscuit making day using more of that tallow up. Also, I thought we could do some gluten-free pie crust and we could work on using and rotating through more of the canned fruit that I have to do some homemade from scratch pies. And no doubt there are many more yummy things we can make using the items in my home pantry. So be sure to also leave me your recipe ideas in the comments below. I'm thinking maybe in January, we will work through doing a homemade from scratch pantry cooking video where we shop in the grocery store in my basement and we work on making homemade meals from scratch, continuing to work through those items and also intentionally restocking the items that I'm super low in. Only a little bit of potato pickup here. Pretty okay. So now I'm going to cover these potatoes in about 2 inches of water or so. Make sure everything is working. I'll also put some salt in here. And always thinking ahead of what I can multitask and do. I was pulling out the Christmas chicken ingredients and I thought I could go ahead and get my rice going for my chicken broccoli rice casserole. So I'm gonna bring 8 cups of water to boil. It's 4 cups of rice
cooked that's needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. That can be working just like the potatoes are coming to a boil behind us. When the water's boiling, we will add our rinsed rice and such and go from there. But that's something else that can happen in the background here while we're pulling the chicken together. Now I just gotta find my right burner. Yay. Okay, nice. And going down those same cooking thoughts, I can get the water going to do our noodles for the ham and cheese casseroles as well. And yes, I could have used the pot filler, but here we are. Wrong one. Nice. Also, I meant to do this to my 20 pounds of potatoes, but I wanted to just add a couple. Well, there you go. 7 bay leaves. I'm gonna add a handful of bay leaves to that boiling water. I can still lift the lid. Yay. Doing things. Get down there. Bay leaves. Nice. Wanted to do that from the beginning, but better late than never, like most things in life. So for the Christmas Day chicken, we're going to use 2 cups of sour cream, about 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice, some sauce. We are using 4 teaspoons, so a tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of this. I don't have celery salt, but I do have paprika and garlic powder. I'm looking at my list down here. Then we'll need some butter. Not all of this. I'm setting this out for other adventures as well. And then olive oil, which we'll use avocado oil today. I will grab that over here. Didn't burn my arm. You know, I've had no hand or arm burns 2025, where summer 24 I had a couple. And one of the questions that I received in the comments of one of my recent Thanksgiving 2025 prep videos, because hey, look at us, we're cooking again this year. One of my viewers asked, Jay Morrell, how in the world are you going to prepare food for 30 with only 1 oven? And that is obviously a very valid question, but here's the thing to keep in mind with me. I've only had double ovens in my life since late 2022. And actually, I only had 1 holiday season in this Mega Mama kitchen before my life imploded, where I actually got to experience the fun of having a huge oven and a regular size oven and all these wonderful burners on this Z-Line stove. After that, life imploded, and you know, you can say it with me. We had a Cracker Barrel Thanksgiving, and we also had a Costco Did the Cookin' Friendsgiving for over 30 last year. And this year, I'm actually cooking again, but here's what I got going for me, okay? The original baby kitchen in this 1963 Rambler was so small that even when my friend Becky from Acre Homestead and her mama visited me in fall 2022, Becky was like, whoa, this kitchen is even so much smaller than it looks on YouTube. That was a small kitchen, but I was feeding 11 all day, every day out of that kitchen with its small size oven. And I was also feeding holiday meals for 15 to 30 out of that small original baby kitchen. That's why we call it a baby kitchen, because that was cute, right? I would use my small oven. I also used my slow cookers and my pressure cookers and my original push button electric stovetop.
and I fed everybody, and we did a bunch of canning, and we did it all out of that baby kitchen. Also, my old farmhouse kitchen that I didn't even have a dishwasher in, I just had a regular stove. I had a glass top stove there. I had one oven. I had a microwave. At that house, I fed up to 10 At that house, I fed 9 to 10 all day, every day. And I also hosted holiday events for up to 15 to 20. And then, glory of glories, whenever I kind of sung that a little bit. Remember when I moved into the Forest House kitchen, I had a dishwasher. I had nice cabinets. I had like 13-year-old countertops, and they made my heart so happy. And I had, again, a 4-burner stove, but I actually had that oven there held full-size sheet pans. It was so nice. I had that for 4 years. And then of course moving to the baby kitchen. Well, no, we had that baby size oven, but I did it. So just saying, I can feed a whole lot of people with only a small oven and a small amount of space to work with. What I have going for me now in the Mega Mama kitchen still, I do still have 8 gas burners that fit my big pots. I do have several slow cookers. I do have my pressure cookers. And we're going to be just fine. That's why also we're making meals ahead. In today's video, we're going to get several meals prepped in the freezer. Plus, I'm working out some recipe details. So we're going to be just fine in the Mega Mama kitchen. Even though I don't have my big oven working, we can still make all the miracles happen with just my regular old size oven. Yay. Okay, so again, perfect world, which we do not live in, but we're eating this tonight, right? Yay. The Christmas Day chicken, you would make your mix up, roll your chicken in it, and then you can put it into a gallon freezer bag or a Rubbermaid container with a lid. Choose your own adventure, glass dish with a lid. Put it in your refrigerator overnight, and then the next day you will coat it. Now this recipe says 4 sleeves, butter flavored crackers crushed. So next day, so coat chicken on all sides with cracker crumbs and place in baking dish. And our variation that we're going to try today is again to use this Italian panko. Should be really good. Now with the Walmart chicken breast, they're giant and the packs are huge. So the pack that we're using is a 6-pound pack, and those chicken breasts, because again they're probably mutant chicken breasts, but it's chicken, I sliced them all in half. So we got about 12 to 14 of the chicken breast halves, and the recipe calls for 12 to 16 boneless, skinless chicken breast halves. So it all works out. So we're gonna get these in here. They won't be resting overnight. And I need to put these pork rind crumbles into a baking dish, drag the chicken through it, and then our workflow will be to get it on these baking sheets. Alrighty, so, and I don't know how many, let's see, 10.5 ounces. Let me try to be able to tell you. We will put 2 cups in here and see how far that gets for 6 pounds of chicken. And again, this is a very easy variation that I'm doing here. If you are using the Make Ahead Mega Holiday Meals Guide, you can easily switch out the crackers. And again, I'm not switching out crackers for everything, because you're going to see some crackers in this holiday cooking, some traditional recipes. But I just looked at this and I was like, oh, that's a variation. You can definitely do that. That spoon is wet. And I got the rice in the pot, the noodles in the pot. Let me check our noodles here. Okay, I'm going to turn that heat off, let it sit there and like it. The rice is coming back to a boil. And don't need this whisk anymore. So now we're gonna drag our chicken through here.
And I made, at the very end, we're gonna drizzle some of our avocado oil and melted butter over the top of these. So deliciousness abounds. And I don't cut the fat off the chicken. I love fat in all of its forms. So I'm just leaving that on there. I'm just going to put several in here. So I do think I'm gonna need to add another cup or two. I'll tell you exactly here in a minute. And so this is so you can eyeball. You get a 1 pack of chicken from Walmart. It'll be about 5.5, 6 pounds. I believe mine was about $14. And when you get to this part, it looks like one thing of the pork panko is going to be enough. But again, I will need another cup or two. So I just turned the water off. I rinsed my hands so I can do 2 more cups of this. And turn the water off on the potatoes, turn the water off on the rice. I think I told you I already turned the water off on the noodles. So those things are waiting for us, which would be great because we can prep those 4 9x13 casseroles while the chicken cooks, then put those through the oven, and then start making homemade mashed potatoes. And I hear lots of happy noises in my living room. Virginia's gotten cold, okay? It's pretty official. It was like 35 degrees this morning. I still did a little over 2.5 miles wearing my weighted vest while I worked on my Walmart order that I needed. I went shopping at Costco and John Henry yesterday, but hold on, there's a timer also keeping me straight. Didn't quite get everything that I needed there. There were still some odds and ends. So $300 later, got our odds and ends, some household things we needed, plus some more big batch cooking recipe items. And yesterday, coming out of Costco, it was 38. It's just wild because it was 65 this weekend. So, you know, it's a big ask. It's a big ask, but hey, it's holiday season. How in the world are we here already? But here we are, so we embrace it. And so, yeah, jingle all the way, right? Gobble, gobble, all the holiday things. So we are doing it, and I had 2 people who needed fresh jackets for this year. Thank goodness for Amazon. I ordered those this morning. Everyone else looks like they're good jacket-wise. I love to get jackets at Costco, but I did not even realize that was a thing yesterday when I was there. So that's where Amazon saves my mama life, just like Walmart grocery delivery. Boy, that chicken is going to be so good. And I am doing a huge half marathon in a big city later this week. That'll be exciting. I'm going to have to dress in layers. And a friend of mine told me what she does for big events like that. She actually gets like throwaway clothing. Like she dresses in layers, but it's clothing that she figures she can take off. She can leave on the side of the road, how other racers do, and then later they can come back and pick it up. But if someone else picks it up in the meantime, if someone else takes the donation of the clothing, it's not like a $50 sweatshirt or something. Anyway, I thought that was a good idea. And she also had a good idea for at the finish line to have a bag there on the side. I've never been in a race with like thousands and thousands of people. Can we talk about running now? I guess you asked me, right? Here we go, talking about running. Never been in a race with thousands of people. I have been in races with several hundred, like even 800, 900, 300, 500, yes, but thousands and thousands, no. So I'm just looking here. So I bought 2 packs of chicken breast, but I was only gonna do 1 tonight, but I have enough sauce here. I could probably do like 2 more big chicken breast in this sauce, because again, the recipe's for 12 to 16 halves. And we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we have 12. And even these halves are huge. So anyway, I figured the other pack would be for Friendsgiving, but I'm gonna get into it now, slice 2 more down, go ahead and add to it, because this is already gone chicken around here. Everybody's going to love it. And then I'll save the rest of the pack. I'll have to put it in a gallon Ziploc bag, and that will be the chicken I use to make ahead for the Friendsgiving for 30. Okay, got 4 more, 2 large chicken breast, halved. And saying that out loud, I will need another pack or 2 of chicken for the Friendsgiving. Again, that's gonna be like a massive buffet, and we are cooking all this food, and I'm asking every family to either bring a side dish or a dessert. So that'll be even more variety, which will be fun. But we are doing several slow cooker turkey breasts, and then I'm gonna do this Christmas Day chicken, and we are going to have mashed potatoes and different Thanksgiving casseroles and a ton of desserts, ton of other fruits and vegetables. I just love to wash 2 packs of blueberries and have those in a bowl. Wash some strawberries, have simple fruits and vegetables available, and pies and things and muffins. It's a lot. So that is going to work out great. I think, if I need to sprinkle a little more of the pork rind mix in here, I can. But those are just, they're covering so nice. See, I said I was doing 4 more, but I didn't think about over here on my 9x13 pans. I'm gonna have to cozy up this chicken a little more. So yeah, I can get 2 halves on each one. So for the pork panko variation, I used 4 cups of the pork panko. Okay, meaning when you see me pour a little more in here, you know I'm going over. Probably got 7 pounds of chicken now instead of 6, which is super. Okay, now the last 2. Let me see, it's probably all I have left in here, so that's why I'm not rinsing my hand yet. That's fine. So for 7 pounds, I've used this whole container of pork panko. I learned about that a couple years ago from Nisha Berry, Dr. Ken Berry's wife. I remember back in 2022, 2023, when I was still, frustrated, trying to figure out my weight loss. I didn't know much about cortisol and stress then, but I had some, and I was just doing all I could do, trying to figure it out. And she has a style of eating called ketovore, which is, hold on here, I've got to organize my chicken. I don't know if I can talk about ketovore while organizing the chicken. So it's kind of like a carnivore focus, but you have some keto-ish things. And what she eats on her version of ketovore is very much bio-individual to her. And I just remember in 2022 being very inspired, coming back from Texas actually when there were some flights canceled. And I watched her videos all the way back. And so that was inspiring. And she also has shared that she reversed her Hashimoto's by her style of eating. So your mileage may vary, but if you have not watched any of Nisha Berry's videos, you very much might enjoy that. And of course, Dr. Ken has a lot about keto and carnivore. I think he's more carnivore these days. So more fun people to learn from, and I think they would totally eat this chicken, depending on their dairy preferences. Okay, pretty good, pretty great. Okay, I'm gonna take the last of the pork panko and just sprinkle on a few areas here and rinse my hands, and then we will drizzle our olive oil. Nope, you can use olive oil just the same, our avocado oil and our butter. And these will go in the oven now. I have it preheated, look at us, for about 30 to 35 minutes. I do have my things on the top get darker quickly, so I'll set the timer for about 15 minutes and make the decision then about switching out my pans. But just in case I didn't show you, look how good that is. Okay, I'm excited. And even if it ended up being 40 minutes, it's when the internal temperature is at least 165.
Wait, I forgot our drizzle. Hold on, emergency drizzling, emergency drizzling.
Okay, but wait, there's more. So that pan probably won't slide out nicely. There we go. Yay, okay.
Nice way to get some extra heat in the kitchen, huh? Because it was so warm this weekend. Woke up this morning, my house was 62 because my heat was not on because it was 65 this weekend. I just had it off. So, like I said, yesterday was chillier, but we could not tell in the house. But this morning, it all added up. It all added up to quick heat come on. Worked out. Don't know if I can quite reach. Well, I just don't want to waste these last little bits. We'll get a little extra there. Okay, extra yum, extra fun. Okay, I'm just seeing what I can multitask here in doing. Also, water protected pages. Good thing in my kitchen. Just doing some more tidying up for a minute, and I'm just gonna write 4 pounds. Sorry, I was eating some almonds and I'm hiccuping now and telling on myself. 4 pounds chicken breast, and we will probably get another 12, yeah, another 12 or so pounds more for the Friendsgiving, because again, I have, let me do my math. I have 12 pounds of turkey breast too. The chicken that did not make the first round. But if it would also get lost in the freezer vortex, oh, I should have cut it. No, it doesn't matter. We'll defrost it in like 6 days. Go from there. And now I'm also thinking, wait a minute, I wonder if someone in my house will cook this or want or need to cook it in the coming days. I think I'm just gonna put it in my refrigerator for right now. And that is good.
Alrighty, so multitasking mama. Let me get my avocado oil. So somehow already I need to leave in like 15 minutes to run a teenager to an evening sports activity. It's not too far though, and then I'll come back. But priorities, you know our priorities in this new universe. I don't cook 12 hours or all night or any of those superhero things. So, oh, I also did not set a timer for that chicken. Well, let's just flip this chicken around and get a timer going. And yeah, I'm looking for my mitts. There they are. I'm going to run tonight because I was just telling a friend, like, my top priority is my health and my healing and taking care of myself, and that's the best I can do. Boy, this is looking delicious though. See if I can gently hold that up. Okay, pan didn't flip off my hands. That's pretty good. So anyway, when I get back from taking him, I will have about an hour. Let me turn that pan down. We're gonna saute some garlic. That's what I'm saying. I was thinking, what could I do in about 15 minutes before I run him down the road? And we also need to chop and saute some onion and garlic for one of the casseroles, maybe two. I need to look at the recipes again. And we'll put the casserole prep as much as I can before I go. When I get back, we will do the mashed potatoes. We will probably turn this chicken off. Sorry, a little dizzy from laid it on my head there. We'll probably turn the chicken off when I go. 15-minute timer commence. And then, so we need to get sauteing. That's my point. Get sauteing, turn off the chicken, take the kid, come back, make the mashed potatoes, then have mashed potatoes and giant chicken tonight for people to start eating, and put the casseroles together and then go run. And then coming up, we're not done yet. It's just gonna be tomorrow. We will do the keto pumpkin pies and the sweet potato crumble muffins. Yay. Alrighty, I am back, so I'm gonna get started chopping these onions. I didn't get very far before I left, but that's okay. Here we are, we're gonna keep moving. Now for the traditional broccoli, cheese, and rice casserole, we're gonna actually do 6 teaspoons of melted butter. And I didn't mean teaspoons, tablespoons. So almost this whole stick. And I'm just reusing the pan that I already sauteed the garlic in for the mashed potatoes. And I'm going to do a gluten-free variation on this. I have some gluten-free flour. My concern right now though is I don't think I have a big enough boat. I don't think this pan is big enough to do this in. So let's see. And I've never done this with the gluten-free flour before, but it's 1/4 cup of flour. We've got our butter melted. I need to add in the onion. And then we add in the flour and the seasonings, cook for 2 minutes. Then we're gonna add in 4 cups of milk. That's why I'm questioning this pan. 4 cups of milk, and you have 4 cups of milk, a whole 8-ounce block of cheese, and then half the cheddar cheese. I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll go great, right? I guess I will just keep going with this pan as I can. And again, I have made it with regular flour, all-purpose flour many times, but I just think I can make this one gluten-free. And the cheese, you gotta watch what they dust cheese with, but this cheese also says gluten-free on the back, so I think we're good here. Okay, while the onion is sauteing over there and I have it on a low heat, I'm going to put the seasonings in a bowl. So we've got a teaspoon of dry mustard. Fit in there? Maybe. Pretty good and close there. And then a teaspoon of paprika. Let me get a new towel. This will do. Let me stir my onions. Hold on here. Okay. I told myself hopefully in about 20 minutes I'm
going to have these 4 casseroles ready, and then we'll start rotating them through the oven. I did, after I gave you that whole speech about how I don't keep cooking and I get my run in, I have decided it would be much better for me to get all these recipes done today than instead of letting them follow me till tomorrow, because I got a new list for tomorrow. It's a new day. Okay, black pepper and garlic powder. So anyway, I'm going to at least get all of this finished. That means we don't get the sweet potato crumble muffins done tonight. Those might go onto my next cooking list because I am tired. But I do have the dentist appointment tomorrow and some other things I have to film and do. I wasn't doing like a full start to finish cooking video. Hopefully I can get my pepper open. Let's see, well, I can use the edge of my spoon. I was going for a butter knife. Pepper and then salt to taste, so I will still add a teaspoon in. Okay, now I'm just gonna stir this up because per our directions, we're gonna stir in the flour and the seasonings, cook for an additional 2 minutes. Then we're gonna add in the milk, and we gotta do some whisking, and that's where that pan is questionable. Okay, little pan. Okay, can we do precious things? Maybe. Maybe so. There's 4 cups of milk. Okay, precious, precious. Okay, so the cream cheese and the cheddar cheese that are added to this is once we remove it from the heat. So really I could go ahead and just do that in the bowl where we're going to combine it also with the rice and with the broccoli. I feel like my push-ups help me with that. Okay, nice. And now I will need to pick those wonderful bay leaves out, but the potatoes look fantastic. I really want to eat one, but I know they are too hot. Okay, so for my next move, what will I do? It's like all of life, right? How are you gonna get yourself out of this one, huh? So I think we did 5 bay leaves. I got 3 out. And that gluten-free flour thickened up very nice. Potatoes look super lovely. I have typed out this recipe. It'll be over on the blog, or at least in the description, on doing the 20 pounds of potatoes. Okay, so need to get other hot things going. So here's the potatoes. We'll get back to those in a few minutes. And then here's our gluten-free sauce. So I'm going to pour this in a bowl, chunk up the 8 ounces of not cottage cheese, cream cheese. And then we're going to do 2 of our cups of cheddar. While we're here with these potatoes, I'm going to dump in that sauteed garlic. Again, these are nice and hot, and we'll get back to these. So here I'm getting our gluten-free sauce. Look at us doing gluten-free sauce this year. Who are we? I'm getting it in our big bowl. And we are going to, we're going to scrape this pan, and I'm going to not drop it, so that's pretty great. I do, again, credit my push-up activities to being able to move that 30-quart stock pot full of those 20 pounds of mashed potatoes and actually juggle that enough to get that going down the drain. I mean, look at us. Again, proud of us. Growing in strength on all kinds of levels. So now with my gluten-free sauce, I add in 2 big handfuls of cheese, which we always like to say, J. Morrell's handful of cheese is a cup of cheese around the world. And then I'm going to stir that up to just go ahead and get the cheese melting in the hot sauce. And now with the cream cheese, I'm going to just kind of chunk this cream cheese up so that I can also get that down in the hot sauce and just stir it up really well. I'm going to let it sit a few minutes. While it's sitting, I'm going to rinse out my pan that we just used and analyze my next recipe that's coming up next, just to see if I can get away with using this pan again, or if I do need to go to one of my cast irons. I need to see. Now with the Make Ahead cheesy ham and pasta casserole, I could also make that a gluten-free variation. Again, instead of 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, if I use 1/4 of a cup of my gluten-free substitute. And then also, if I would use gluten-free noodles instead of traditional noodles, I could definitely make that ahead. Now I would make it ahead and keep it in the refrigerator. I would not make it ahead and freeze it because I have not tested freezing it with gluten-free noodles. I don't have much experience at all freezing gluten-free noodles. I'm not sure how they would hold up, honestly. So can't advise you as far as freezing ahead with this, but I have made the cheesy ham and pasta casseroles with traditional noodles and froze them, and they were just fine. I defrost them. Same thing with the Make Ahead broccoli, cheese, and rice bake. I defrost, and then I put them through the oven again to warm them through. And I'm actually not going to bake these casseroles tonight. If I was going to bake them tonight, it would be about 45 or 50 minutes at 350. But instead, I'm going to prep them, get them covered in cheese, and this will be, hey, a Make Ahead meal for our Friendsgiving, and I think another Make Ahead side item for our Thanksgiving Day. And we did it, we meal prepped, right? Awesome. Alrighty, I got some of the mixed casserole on the handles as I was carrying it over here. Now we are just going to top these with cheese, and we'll have a teen boy wrap these for the freezer, because that's what he should do, right? And again, we will defrost and heat through one for Friendsgiving. I think I was a little short on that handful. And then the other one for Thanksgiving Day as another yummy side option. Okay, so I'm prepping here for the cheesy ham and pasta casseroles. And we're gonna go ahead and get the onion going in this butter again. Again, we're really pushing it. Also, I had one of my folks bring up, I had a bag of frozen mixed vegetables, and we will add this in. I'm gonna try to just continue to use this pan because it almost, it worked last time, and this is pretty similar, although we have the mixed vegetables in here. And let's see. I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of minced garlic in there. Then it's the flour. I'm going to use that flour, but again, these aren't gluten-free noodles, so, but this is the flour that I have out, and that worked fine. This has sour cream, cheddar cheese, mix it all in a bowl. And I'm going to do the same where I prep these and then I wrap and freeze them, and then whenever I go to serve them for our Friendsgiving for 30 and our Thanksgiving, traditional Thanksgiving for 15 day, on those days I will top them with some traditional fried onions and cook them through that way. So that's how we will make that work. And then we have dry mustard, paprika, black pepper, and salt again as our seasoning, so I will those going in our little bowl again. Now we're gonna stir in, dump our plate of minced garlic and vegetables. I'll get the rest of those off the plate here in a minute, but I'm holding a camera with one hand and juggling a spatula with the other. I actually have to run back out to pick up a teenager now. other seasonings in there. Just gonna try to get this to the point where it's just sitting and being a sauce and liking it before I go. I know we have added to the volume by adding the 2 cups of vegetables to this one. Let that like it. Hopefully it's bubbling in about 2 minutes, and then I'll turn it off while I go real quick and come back. All right, I am back. I'm going to get this in our bowl now, and then we're going to add in a cup of sour cream and some shredded cheese. Here we are. Okay, everything's okay, okay? Okay. I'm just gonna keep saying everything's okay. But they really are pretty okay. Last night, I chose a little bit after 8 p.m. Once I was back from that second teenager pickup, I was like, you know, I'm good. We're just gonna put all of this away, and I'm going to pick back up on these cooking projects on this day, which is the next day. So, did I walk several miles and get a several mile run in this morning? You know I did. Dressed and ready for the day, applying the makeup. Took the the refrigerator's gonna talk now. Took the 20 pounds of potatoes that we meal prepped yesterday. Look at us. Got those back on the stove right now on the lowest heat, and I have stirred them once. Also, taking care of myself, one of my 4 reclaimed ribeyes from my freezer clean out. This is the third day in a row. I'm having a ribeye and of course celery and avocado for breakfast. Ate the celery and avocado while I took care of this hair situation. So anyway, we are doing it. Once the face is fully back on for a brand new day here, we're gonna make homemade from scratch mashed potatoes. Looking at my time, okay, it's 12:20. Remember, my time and my universe is not normal mom time. It's not even normal like large family mom time, okay? Because I talk, I move my camera, I got situations, I got things happening. So, and I have to leave for the dentist in like an hour, and it's an hour round trip. No problems, right? So, the homemade mashed potatoes are definitely happening before I go. And then we've got, I want to do, based on the amount of pie pans I have, 6 keto low-carb pumpkin pies. And last night, I mean, I could have, old universe me, who I love her, she would have kept cooking until 11 or 12, burned her candle at both ends, and would have done it. But I'm like, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. I mean, I already had a very long day yesterday. We'll just move it and finish it the next day. So here we are. So mashed potatoes going down. Now that does mean last night's supposed chicken and mashed potatoes did not happen. Other food things happened.
but everyone's also used to their mom and used to life with me. And they know, wait, Mama's not done filming that. She didn't get her pictures yet. We eat all this other stuff. So today, they will have that wonderful pork panko chicken, and they will have homemade mashed potatoes. And those mashed potatoes, I'm thinking maybe 48-hour mashed potatoes, but it's been so long they might only be 24-hour mashed potatoes. We're doing that. And then with the pies, I do hope to take a pie to a neighbor and then give my household two healthy pumpkin pies to eat now. And then I hope to get 3 in the freezer to start to go towards our bank up, pile up, stock up. I don't know what bank up is. Kind of like, well, building a bank. Sand banks. Bags of sand. It's okay. Anyway, we're stocking up for our Friendsgiving for 30. We already have 4 9x13 casseroles. Finished those. Had a teenager get those labeled and get those in the freezer last night for their mama. And look at that. Well, I was gonna say dishes are done. Those are today's dishes. Yesterday's dishes are long gone, and we have moved on to another day. So I'm proud of us.
Okay, I just had a teenager stir the potatoes for me again and unbox. So this is my new KitchenAid hand blender that I got for $10 off at Walmart. It was regularly 44 something, got it for 34 something because my other one, this blender part is crooked down here. There were some issues, but this is a fresh one. I thought I've gotten, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, maybe more out of my other one. So for $34, it's a nice upgrade.
And you gotta admit, pistachio, it's a fun color. It's my favorite nut too, so yay. Alrighty, so, gonna get out our needed ingredients. Okay, don't worry, we're pulling it together with these here mashed potatoes. Yes, we are. All of our ingredients. And I had cheddar. I must have gone through, ordered 2 bags of that. I wonder. Okay, I got one more spot. I can look for that. I just grabbed the mixed cheese. Yes, I do have some more. Okay. All right, so that Fiesta blend will wait for other adventures. Alrighty, and so, like I say, we've been warming these through, and so this would be an example. If you prep your potatoes the day before, again, say it with me, hey, look, we meal prepped. There's, I think, that last bay leaf, and then you wait until the following day to make them. And if this turns out pretty okay, then this might be what I do with my Friendsgiving batch as well. This is my large family test batch since it had been a while. But, nope, one more bay leaf. So that's 5 total. We picked out 3 yesterday. I think I see one more. Okay, maybe I did 6. Anyway, these have been on the lowest heat, which you know that's what I gotta do. And over the last 15 minutes or so, I've stirred them once. I had a teenager stir them once. Of course, we're using our boat paddle to stir in this 30-quart pot. And I am just going to start layering in our ingredients. And my teenager so badly wanted to mash these. I said, you will have your time, but I'm going to video Mama mashing them right now. I'll show you what they look like at the moment. There we go, but it's very delicate not getting them burned on the bottom now. Okay, so we have our 20 pounds of potatoes. I'm gonna do 4 cups of heavy cream, 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. Need to get one more out. 2 cups of sour cream, 4 cups of shredded cheddar, 2 cups of butter. We already sauteed our garlic and olive oil yesterday, and we're gonna add in our salt and pepper. I might even add in a little dried mustard. But this recipe, along with pictures of the process, will be over on largefamilytable.com and linked down below. Okay, and I am going rogue with just a few, there'll be a couple extra tablespoons in addition to the 2 cups. Okay, those were some rogue ones that needed used up. And let's see here. Throwing these in, of course, chopping up the butter is very nice for even melting, but we're just gonna do this whole thing together, aren't we? I could give it a stir though.
Good, good, good. I'm gonna turn that heat off for now. So then we are going to drop in our 2 8-ounce, I'm going to say 8-ounce packs of cream cheese. Again, a good cook would chop these into little pieces, but we've got a lot of heat in here and we've got a lot of potatoes. I think we can, whoops. And I got a timer set for 30 minutes. And we got 18 minutes and 31 seconds left. So we are going to conquer these mashed potatoes, and maybe I will only get my pie fillings mixed before I go. I don't know if my people who will be here can rotate pies while I'm gone for 2 hours. So we'll see, we'll see. I'll check the room, I'll check the vibe. But I run everyone else to their dental appointments. Today is my dental appointment. And with those, I work to stack them as much as possible, but not everything can be stacked. Okay. So this one is already open. And again, these are not dairy-free mashed potatoes, but they are gluten-free. And I checked to make sure our cheese is gluten-free, so that is good. Doing that, and will this open kindly? No tearing here. Okay, so gonna get our cheese in, and then it is immersion blender time. I'll probably work on maybe we'll use the hand masher here. And it's roughly 4 cups, and that third handful plus the last that we used from this bag is good. To make these dairy-free, what would we do? We could put tallow or lard in them. Of course, your spices and seasonings and broth. You could do chicken broth or even beef broth. And that is my quick thinking on how I would make a dairy-free variation of mashed potatoes. But I say these obviously not. But again, you can divide all this down. If this was a 5-pound bag of potatoes that we peeled and chopped and boiled, you would use half a cup of butter. You know, you would just break it down by fourths like that to get, you know, a smaller, sensible amount of potatoes. Alrighty, so I'm just going to stir these up with my boat paddle here for a minute. And now I have frozen mashed potatoes as well in the past. I do have recipes up over on the blog for how I did that. And I have made hundreds of twice-baked potatoes and also frozen those. And those were fantastic. Those were Forest House projects, and I've done them since that time. Good, hopeful things that can be done with potatoes. I've also done homemade mashed potatoes and frozen them on top of shepherd's pie. I want to do a shepherd's pie variation using sweet potatoes too. Exciting things to cook, and I'm excited about cooking, so that is very, very nice. So I am going to just stir this up, and let me see, you know, do I have a masher that, I have my granddad's old masher. That is fun. Okay, so just gonna do a little mashing. Won't really get that far, but then the immersion blender, we will give it its maiden voyage. Like 2 random pumpkins. No, they were those pumpkin buckets. Caught my eye out the window for a minute.
Also, salt and pepper, let's remember that early on. This is just eyeballing salt, okay? We're gonna say a tablespoon. This is a half teaspoon, so. Doing it? Okay, I had to give it a break. I must have overheated it. Such is life with me. No, it's not. Come on, KitchenAid, can you do it? Well, I'm just gonna put it on one. I hear the little motor. I mean, I feel it. I guess it couldn't handle making 20 pounds of mashed potatoes with me. Okay, it's fine. We can do it the old-fashioned way. I was happy about my KitchenAid mixer, and sensible cooks can have a sensible mixer experience. Okay, so my other one, it's a Cuisinart, and I no longer have the immersion blender in. I have the mixer in. We're just gonna see how it goes. I also added in some more heavy cream to that. Totally eyeballing what I thought it needed. Let's just see. Let's. All right, so mom priorities. I'm going to have a sample bowl, and I'm going to let a teenager work on manually mashing these up a little bit while I read through my low-carb pumpkin pie recipe and also get that going. Well, back for my afternoon self-care, made it to the dentist, made it back, got my therapeutic iced coffee. Now we are going to tackle 6 of these keto pumpkin pies. Woo! I just love using this size mixing bowl too. So I have 3 glass pie pans. Oh, I only have 2 here. Trying to think where my other one is. Hold on, I'll find it. I'm gonna do 3 in my glass pie pans, and then I have 3 metal pie pans, which I'll probably put some parchment paper in those. I need to find my 3rd pie pan real quick. Hopefully nothing that a mom with a ladder can't handle, right? Oh, I found my other immersion blender part. Okay. Well, I'm missing a pie pan. I probably gave someone something in a glass baking dish. I have been known to do that. But anyway, I have 4 of these that I got to do those THM layer cakes, which we're also not mad about. And getting the parchment paper in there. You all are gonna give me the best tips now for getting parchment paper into round metal pie pans. So bear with me as I do this before I hear your tips. Okay. Well, that'll be a good test one. So we've got 3 pans already. Now it says 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. That's with the idea that you need coconut oil to rub around each pan to grease it. We don't need to do that though because I had my spread. Okay, so 9 eggs, 3 15-ounce cans, which these are 30-ounce cans, so this equals 2 of the pumpkin puree. Got several of those. In this recipe that's linked below on the blog, there's a concentrated stevia used, so I'm going to use 1.5 cups of monk fruit, 3 tablespoons of pumpkin pie spice, 3 tablespoons vanilla, 3 cups of coconut milk, unsweetened full fat, and 6 tablespoons of coconut flour. That's organic coconut flour, and I don't think, hold on here, I don't think I've opened this one yet. So I'm just thinking there might be, let's see, can I get it open? Okay, so while that's getting open for me, and yeah, while I'm filming, I very well could have kids over at the big 16-foot table getting different schoolwork things done and all of that. So we multitask. We preheated our oven to 350. We greased our pans. Large bowl, whisk eggs. We can do that. So again, 9 eggs, but this is the equivalent of doing 3 of these pies, and I want to just roll through and do it twice. And fingers crossed, hopeful. 1 for the neighbor, 2 for my folks, 3 for the freezer. It's like, I want to get ready, 2 for the show, right? Anyway, that'll be our little poem this afternoon. And I'm just reading this recipe off the blog. Again, it'll be linked down below. I also have a beautiful free PDF version of the recipe. There's my door opening. That's part of the special free bonuses that are included in my 50% off 2025 Thanksgiving bundle. So if you want the pretty PDF, that's where you can get that too. Okay, eggs, add in the pumpkin spice, stevia, vanilla. Okay, big guys to the rescue. But I might have to, there we go. I was gonna say I might have to stab it with scissors, but ouch. Just rack my knuckles a little bit, right? For extra fun. Okay. So, and you could switch out coconut flour for almond flour. And one of my little measuring spoons were washed with last night's adventures. We just have to find them for a minute. Okay, on the chore list, unload dishwashers. Okay, pumpkin spice, 3 tablespoons of pumpkin spice, yes. Let's see if I have that much left. And let me see, pumpkin pie spice is organic ground. Okay, we got cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, cloves. We just might be making some quick pumpkin pie spice. I think I'll do 2. And then, sorry, cinnamon and nutmeg. So I'm not really mixing this, but we'll do like a teaspoon of each real quick in a pinch. Cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg. Okay. This is not, of course, all the ingredients for pumpkin pie spice, but it'll be pretty good. So 2 tablespoons. That, so I will do a teaspoon of nutmeg. We'll need you again in a minute. 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. And teaspoon of allspice. Sorry, I just want to set this now. Nice. Did that. So what else would we have needed to truly? We would have needed to just add in some ginger and some cloves. I don't know that I have any ground cloves. I do have some ginger, but we'll stop there. Okay, back to my list. And then 3 tablespoons of our vanilla. Okay, nice. And then I'm using a cup and a half of the monk fruit. Just 2/3 of a cup, okay. And I'm gonna do, well, I guess I could get out my 1/3, right? And then we're pretty okay. Nice. Okay, so mix well. I do have my KitchenAid mixer, hand mixer. And I, like we know, blew up my immersion blender already. Life with me in the yard. Okay. Now we're gonna shake a can of coconut milk and measure 3 cups. Okay, needed to put my pumpkin in there too. So I'm gonna do 1 full can and half another can. And that'll be perfect for our next batch because that will be that half that's left plus another full can. Okay. And again, I probably have a dozen cans of pumpkin, but that is not enough. And we're going to use 3 cans today. Be rolling through it. So I'm hoping for some canned pumpkin deals. Of course, you know, on my hopes and dreams list this fall, I was like, I'm going to get pumpkins marked down at John Henry, and now they're almost out, and I was going to home can them. But now we've just picked up our canning, and we've moved that to January after this homemade from scratch holiday pumpkin, and that is also fun. Can opener, you can do it. I guess I should put a fresh can opener on my Walmart list. Okay, half, Jim Girl, half. Eyeballing school unlocked. Pretty okay. Now we're gonna mix this some more. Okay. Now we're gonna have 3 cups. So I need 1 full can and about 1/3 of another. I think I've had this can opener for a good 10 years. Let's talk can opener life. Because when I moved to this house, I got one of those can openers that doesn't leave the metal edges around, and that one's as good as gone too. Try this at home, entertainment purposes only. Fingers intact, doing pretty okay. Okay. Now we are going to mix in 6 tablespoons coconut flour. Okay. And that was a dinosaur noise through my back window if you heard that. So now, like which thing will I use to transfer the batter? That's my watch timer saying have the pies in the oven by this time. So we're doing pretty okay. And this is not going to be perfect. The batter is going to go under this parchment paper, but it's my try. That might be okay.
Alrighty, these are gonna go in the oven now, and then we're gonna do 3 more real quick. And it's about 40 minutes on 350, and I will set my timer for 20 and check them halfway. Okay, we did it. So this time I used 2 teaspoons of allspice, 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Because eyeballing it, I only had the equivalent of about a tablespoon of the organic pumpkin spice, and it's supposed to be 3 tablespoons total. So that's just me working it out a bit. Halfway apart, they're looking nice. I always like to switch my racks. Now these do need to cool, and then they also need to go in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. So you'll want to make them ahead of your big day. Nice. And these 3 are sitting pretty waiting. We beat our 1 timer. Okay, so real quick, even though these pies, it'll be a few hours until they're actually edible. After they are done in there, and then after they sit in the fridge for a bit. But we're gonna make some quick, homemade, low carb, sugar-free, gluten-free, not dairy-free, homemade Cool Whip. And washed those beater paddles, mixer paddles, and do need a half a measuring cup if I might be blessed to have one. Okay. So we are going to take 4 cups heavy whipping cream, and then half a cup of Swerve. I think that should be good. Tablespoon of vanilla, although I just got rid of my tablespoons of that in the sink. I want to try some dairy-free variations too with coconut milk, and I even was reading a vegan recipe that had, what did they use? It was like the liquid from a can of chickpeas, something. But a food processor's involved, and you know me with food processors, it's just not something that I use all the time. So I thought, okay, not today. Not today, not in this round.
official taste testing duties. You know, it's official business. So good. I don't think my household realizes how easy this is to make. I need to teach that skill because I think this would be made a lot more. We'd have smoothies with Cool Whip on it. Okay, so.
And behind the scenes, I just had these brought up so we could do our thumbnail picture with them, but this is the nice wrapping job with the freezer tape we got last night. And here's more of that delicious chicken that I made last night. I did just have someone add about half a cup more of the Swerve sweetener to, hold on, to the Cool Whip, homemade whipped topping there that we're doing. And we brought the mashed potatoes back out, and so now everybody's going to heat up mashed potatoes and the chicken while we juggle the pies. Okay, these 3 pies are coming out. Now these are gonna cool and like it, and then like I share in the recipe, they need to be in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. Once they cool, then refrigerate for about 2 hours. Then they're perfection. And yum, boiling hot like how I like it, just microwaved my dinner. So I'm pretty sure because I put my mashed potatoes in the refrigerator and there's a whole starch science that happens. And my friend Katie over at For the Love of Leftovers, she loves explaining food science and starch science to me. We've talked extensively about mashed potatoes. But anyway, she was trying to help me figure out, and she's pretty sure at some point during my emergency refrigeration and getting back to heating them up yet again today and then adding my ingredients. Anyway, they're not fluffy, but they're not gummy either, so yum. And we're gonna make them again in a few days. And I'll finish them all in one day, okay? But I've already had 2 cups today. They are delicious, and that is my chicken reheated, also delicious. Happy next day, happy new shirt, pulling some more things together for another big cooking. But something I'm going to do, I've been reading the dairy-free whipped topping recipes. A lot of them use coconut milk, and they say to refrigerate it for 8 to 10 hours. So forgot to get these in the refrigerator last night, but I'm at least getting them in there so I can try that variation here soon. And showing you all that's left of that Christmas Day chicken is 2 pieces that will be gone today with lunch. And we literally put the 20 pounds of mashed potato pot in the refrigerator last night, but that is all that's left. It's about 2/3 gone, so those will be finished today. Here's all of our pies wrapped up.
And I do want to say a real fun pumpkin, 100% pure pumpkin, and pumpkin pie mix goof up. And I know I did this with my keto, dairy-free, sugar-free pumpkin pies, okay? Several of you in my emergency pantry video where we worked on cleaning it and organizing my pumpkin were like, Jamarelle, watch out, you have several cans of the pumpkin pie mix filling, okay? Differences are, this has salt in it and dextrose and a few other adventures. So, pumpkin pie mix, read your labels, Jamarelle, right? Which I did not do when we made our 6 keto pumpkin pies. And I'm pretty sure the video footage will show us, I'm pretty sure I used 1 to 2 of these cans in these 6 pumpkin pies. What I wanted to use was the 100% pure pumpkin. I also used this in some of the pies, but thank goodness we're making a whole lot of homemade pumpkin pies from scratch. And also thank goodness that my household and neighbors and friends, there are several who do not mind actual sugar in their pumpkin pies. So that's a good thing.
And here's how our sugar-free whipped topping held up overnight. So I'm serving it out for 8 today based on how many are at the house at the moment. That took a whole pie pan.
And don't worry, it's not going to waste.
Well, friends, we did it. We did several pounds, about 6 pounds of the Christmas Day chicken, testing it out, of course, testing purposes, making it also low carb and gluten-free. That's a great variation. The traditional is still great. I will link that for you in the description below, but also those pork panko crumbs go a long way. Our homemade mashed potatoes worked out in the end, and no worries as far as those go because they are almost already gone. And for my Friendsgiving for 30, I'm gonna make those hot and fresh the day of. We made 2 9x13 broccoli, cheese, and rice casseroles, also making those with a gluten-free variation. And then we did 2 9x13 ham and cheese casseroles. Could have been totally gluten-free using gluten-free noodles. Again, I would not have frozen those with the gluten-free noodles, but if time allows, on one of our big event days, I might make an additional 9x13 and make it 100% gluten-free for gluten-free folks. And then we had our wonderful gluten-free, dairy-free keto pumpkin pies that we made with homemade whipped topping. Of course, you know I goofed by using 2 cans of the Easy pumpkin pie mix that had sugar in it. But regardless, they were still gluten-free, they were still dairy-free, and I will 100% check that I'm using 100% pure pumpkin in my next batch of half a dozen to a dozen pumpkin pies. And that recipe will also be linked down below. We prepped sweet potatoes because coming up next, I'm making my sweet potato crumble muffins. And this was a lot of great big batch cooking with you, feeding my large family, and getting some things in the freezer for upcoming Friendsgiving and Thanksgiving fun. Thanks again for being here with me. I appreciate you, and I'll see you real soon with another brand new video.